Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today we will discuss about EB-1B visa, visa for outstanding professors and researchers. First, we will discuss the requirements for this visa application, and then we will discuss some key terms and we'll try to explain it to you. Let's start. So to apply for EB-1B, you must demonstrate international recognitions for your outstanding achievements in a particular academic field. So these two terms, international recognition and outstanding achievements, are very significant. I will discuss those in this video. You also must have at least 3 years experience in teaching or research in that academic area. You also must be entering the United States in order to pursue tenure or tenure track teaching or a comparable research position at a university, institution of higher education, or private employer. I will discuss this comparable research position in this video. Also, you must provide an offer of employment from the prospective US employer. The private employer must show documented accomplishments and that it employs at least 3 full-time researchers. This requirement is only for private employers. Public employers like universities or government research firms like, for example, national labs, they don't have to show this. This is only for private organizations, including private universities. And for this application, EB-1B, you do not need a labor certification. That's a great thing, right? I know. Also, you must meet at least 2 of these 6 criteria. Let me talk about these 6 criteria. Number 1, evidence of receipt of major prizes or awards for outstanding achievements. Number 2, evidence of membership in association that require their members to demonstrate outstanding achievements. Number 3, evidence of published material in professional publications written by others about the alien's work in the academic field. Evidence of participation either on a panel or individually as a judge of the work of others in the same or allied academic field. Evidence of original scientific or scholarly research contribution in the field. This one is very significant. I will explain it later. And number 6, evidence of authorship of scholarly books or articles in scholarly journals with international circulations in the field. That's also important thing, international circulation. So those were the requirements to apply for EB-1B visa. If you meet those requirements, you can apply for it. And as I said, there are some requirements that everybody needs to meet, and then there are 6 criteria. And if you meet 2 of those 6, you are eligible to apply. Now I will discuss some key terms in this category. As I said, you must demonstrate international recognition for your outstanding achievements in a particular academic field. So what is international recognition? So it can be like this. You presented a paper in an international conference. So there's one important issue about this international conference. It cannot be an American conference because you are here. You work in a, for example, you work in a university in America. So any American conference will not be international conference. Also, for example, you're from Bangladesh. So any conference in Bangladesh will not be international conference because you're from Bangladesh. So any conference that is not in your home country, also it is not in your host country right now, will be recognized as an international conference. Also, you can get international letter of recommendation. So you can get recommendation letters from European professors, Japanese professors, Korean professors, China, Australia, Canada, anywhere, but not American. I mean, you can get some American recommendation letters, but there must be some recommendation letters that is international. Then your achievements would be recognized as international. And similarly, it cannot be from your home country. So let me explain this. For example, you are getting 6 recommendation letters for your application. So one can be from your home country, like for example, Bangladesh. One can be from America, like your host country. And 4 can be from international countries, like any other country other than these 2 countries. That would be recognized as international recognition. Also, for example, you got an invitation in a foreign university to teach or do some research in the summertime or some particular semester. That would be recognized as international recognition. Also, some kind of foreign connection, like any kind of foreign connection related to your field, that can be recognized as international recognition of your outstanding performance. So, how do you define something as outstanding? The best way to do it is through the letter of recommendation. So many of my clients, they ask me, is recommendation letters mandatory? The answer is no. It's not mandatory for EB1 category or EB2 NIW. It's not mandatory for anything. However, letter of recommendation is very significant because whenever you cannot submit any evidence for anything, like you did something great but there is no evidence, there is no way to show it to USCIS, we just write it down in the letter of recommendation. So letter of recommendation is kind of like the best evidence for anything that you don't have evidence. So the same thing here, like outstanding achievements. How do you define something as an outstanding achievement? You just write it down in the recommendation letter. 2 or 3 experts in your field, they're saying this is outstanding achievements, then this is outstanding achievements. Because USCIS is not expert in your field. They have no right to say something that this is outstanding or this is not outstanding. Anybody who is expert in your field has 100% right to say something that this is outstanding. And if they write it down in the letter of recommendation, then it is established that your achievements are outstanding. That's why letter of recommendations are very significant. So for international recognition and outstanding achievements, we recommend like 6 letter of recommendations, 1 from your host country, 1 from your home country, and 4 from like foreign countries. Then you cover like both, and we try to write down that your work is like outstanding in at least 4 or 5. And if the recommenders who actually sign the letter, if they don't object, that's great. Then it's easy to establish that you have international recognition and outstanding achievements. Another thing is, in all these criteria, if there is anything that does not actually applicable in your field, you can always submit some comparable evidences. That's another great thing for any application, that you can always submit some comparable evidences. Let me give you some example of comparable evidences. For example, you got a very prestigious grants or other kind of funding. So, grants and fundings are not one of those 6 criteria that you meet. However, if you can show that, hey, look at this, these grants and fundings are very significant, and the people who are like outstanding, only they get it, and I got one of those, so I am one of those outstanding person, then it's easy to show. And we can play with this different kind of way. So if you get like a good grant or funding, just tell us, like we will be able to submit it in a good way. Another thing is, for example, you CNN or BBC, kind of like big media, they took an interview of you, even though it's not one of those 6 criteria, but we present that, hey, look at that, my client, he did great in his field, and big international media like CNN, BBC, New York Times, they took his interview or her interview. Then it's easy for USCIS to accept it, that yes, this is outstanding. Also, high salary. If you get like high salary compared to your peer, that's also proof of outstanding performance. Also, prestigious appointment with a distinguished institution. So if you get appointment in MIT, Harvard, Princeton, then we can show this evidence to USCIS that, look, this client, he is outstanding because he got prestigious appointments with like distinguished institutions. Also, any other kind of achievements, any other kind of things that is international, that is recognizable, we can always submit it to USCIS. So whatever you have, tell us. I always request my clients to submit a detailed CV. Try to tell us everything that you got in your entire life. Then we can pick what is best for you. And if we feel like, no, this is not important, we'll delete it. But you don't keep anything secret from us. Tell us everything about you. Then we can present your case very strong to USCIS. Another very significant term in this application is tenure or tenure track teaching or comparable research position. So this comparable research position is very tricky because many of our prospective clients, they say, hey, is a postdoc is comparable to tenure or tenure track teaching position? The answer is in most cases no. It depends. It depends on like how the university or the lab is employing you. But in most cases, it's not compared to tenure or tenure track teaching position. So USCIS defines this as permanent. So this research position must be permanent as being for a term of indefinite or unlimited duration, and in which the employee will ordinarily have an expectation of continued employment unless there's a good cause for termination. So whatever your position is, it must be permanent. There is a general expectation that you will keep working this work. That means there is no term limit. It's not a contractual position. And unless you did something big mistake, they cannot fire you. That kind of permanent position in research field would be comparable to tenure or tenure track teaching position. So in most cases, postdoc students are not compared to tenure or tenure track teaching position. So that's a very common question we get all the time. Another question is, what is 3 years of teaching or research experience in the academic field? So teaching experience gained while pursuing an advanced degree can be counted toward the 3 years only if the beneficiary received the degree and had full responsibility for the class taught. For example, solo teaching, instructor of record. It means that you are not a teaching assistant. You are not like a co-teacher of a class. You are the sole teacher. You are the instructor of record. Even though you did that while you were studying your PhD, you were getting your degree, you can still claim this as an experience, as a part of 3 years experience. The same thing for the research. The research experience gained while pursuing an advanced degree can be counted toward the 3 years only if the beneficiary received the degree and counted research that is recognized as outstanding by the experts in the academic field. Again, outstanding. So your research as part of PhD can be counted as a 3 years experience in research only if the experts in your field recognize it as outstanding, and they will recognize it outstanding through their letter of recommendation. That's why letter of recommendations are so important. Another term, major awards, prizes for outstanding achievements. So what are major awards and prizes? Patents may count as awards for this category. So you filed a patent to patent office and they accepted it, they approved it. It would be counted as a prize or awards. Another important thing, USCIS does not accept school awarded academic scholarships / fellowships and grants unless they are notoriously competitive. So in most cases, fellowships and other kind of scholarships, those are not awards or prizes. So this is also another very common question that we get all the time. Another significant term, published articles about the beneficiary's work. So the articles must extensively discuss as opposed to simply cite the beneficiary's work in a positive or neutral way. So it must be like they must exclusively discuss about your achievements, not just mention it like one sentence or two sentences. Another significant thing, participation as a panelist / individual as a judge of others' work. So for journal or conference peer reviewing, provide copies of letters, emails, acknowledging the judging. For example, letter from an editor explaining why the beneficiary is regularly asked to review manuscript. So it's not just, hey, I reviewed like 6 journal articles. No, you must show evidence of getting invited through mails or letters, and in the mails and or letters they must explain why they are inviting you, why they are not inviting somebody else, because you are great in this field, and they must mention that. So in general time they may not mention this all the time because they invite like many people to review journal articles. So you must request them, hey, I need this, can you please write down this when you send me this email or regular mail. Then they will do that, and you can submit that to USCIS to show that yes, you did actually judge other people's work and your judgment was accepted by the journal like editorial board or somebody. So we need proof. We need proof of your achievement and their invitation in that letter. Another very significant term, original scientific or scholarly contributions. So this is one of those 6 criteria. So technically, if you meet another 2, you don't need original scientific or scholarly contributions. However, this one is significant. Technically, this is kind of mandatory. If you do not meet this, and if you meet like another 2 or 3, in most cases, USCIS will just throw away your application. So think this one as mandatory, and then you meet at least 1 from other 5. Then your case will be strong. So I tried to explain, everything about EB-1B, Outstanding Professor and Researcher Visa. I don't know whether you are satisfied with watching this video. And also, I apologize for my English accent. Of course, I'm not native speaker. So if you have more questions, feel free to take appointment from our website. I would be more than happy to answer all of your questions, and I will make more videos in future. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any question, please ask. Have a wonderful day. Bye.